we're going to introduce you to some advanced trigonometry now. I'm going to look at something called the cosine rule. And this is kind of like another kind of rule in trigonometry that we can use to solve some other problems. Now, just one thing to remember, SOHCAHTOA only works on right-angled triangles. It does not work on any other type of triangle, and it's a bit limited to just right-angled triangles. So, you can use it on other triangles, but it's limited to right-angled triangles. Cosine rule is a new rule that works on any triangle. And again, it's useful for working out various different things about triangles. You can work out missing sides and missing angles. And it kind of comes from SOHCAHTOA, but I'm not going to get into the details of where it comes from. I'm just going to sort of give you an introduction on how to use it and the formula that you need to remember. Okay, so here we have some triangle. It's a scalene triangle. So it's not a right angle triangle. So we can't use SOHCAHTOA in order to work out something about it. Now let's say I want to work out this missing side here, this side here. It's not a right angle triangle, so I can't use SOHCAHTOA. So how can I do that? How can I work out this missing side here? In a minute, I'll teach you what the cosine rule is. I'm just going to teach you kind of where it comes from. Now, even though this isn't a right angle triangle, what I could do is work out that missing side using SOHCAHTOA and some basic Pythagoras. Because what I could do is I can draw a line from this corner here straight down, and then so it's in such a way that it makes a right angle here, because you can always do that. So I have a right angle triangle here. Now what I would then do, and you can do this yourself, but I'm not going to, you can do the following. You could use SOHCAHTOA, because you've got the hypotenuse, 15, in this right angle triangle, and you've got this angle, then you can use SOHCAHTOA to work out how long this vertical side is, the dotted line. You could use Pythagoras or SOHCAHTOA again to work out how long this side is. Then you can work out how long this side is, because all you would need to do is this whole length is 43 from here to here. You've just worked out this bit. So if you do 43 take away this bit, then you've got the length of this section. You worked out this side already using SOHCAHTOA on this left-hand triangle. Because that's a right angle, this would also have to be a right angle. And then you just use Pythagoras to work out that last side there. And then you've got x. So you kind of split it into two right angle triangles, and you use the left-hand triangle to work out some missing information. And then you can use it to work out the missing information on the right angle triangle. I'm not going to do that for you. You can do it yourself. But the thing is, the trouble with that method is that it's very long-winded, and every time you work out something, you have to write it down, and you have to round something, and every time you round something, it builds an error in your result, a rounding error. So that last kind of calculation you do to work out this side here, it kind of builds up an error. It keeps kind of, every time you round it, it kind of keeps building up an error, and it doesn't give you the exact result. So it does work. You kind of just need to do it to very kind of accurate decimal places to get an exact answer. But we're going to teach you this cosine rule, which is quicker. Number one, it's quicker, and it gives you an accurate result in like a couple of steps. So let's kind of look at what the cosine rule is. Now, first of all, just remember the cosine rule works on any triangle now. It works on scalenes, equilaterals, isosceles triangles, any triangle you want. But if it's a right angle triangle, stick to SOHCAHTOA because it's quicker. So if it's a right angle triangle, stick to SOHCAHTOA because it is quicker. So, okay, first of all, what is the cosine rule? Now, let's actually kind of look at what the cosine rule is. Right, let's say, for example, I want to work out this side here. I want to work out how long this side here is in the triangle using the cosine rule. Cosine rule. Now, I need three pieces of information in order to work out this side here. I need to know, first of all, the angle that is opposite that side here. So I need to know this angle. So I have to know it though. So it needs to be told to me. So I need to know this angle here, which I'm going to label A. Then I need to know the two sides coming off that angle. So I need to know this side here, which I'm going to label B, and this side here, which I'm going to label C. Now, B and C, it doesn't matter which way around they go, but basically I need to know three pieces of information in order to work out this side here. I need to know this angle and these two sides which come off that angle in order to work out this side here. So before I write down the rule, I'm just going to explain that again. So let's say I want to work out the length of this bottom side using the cosine rule. So what information would I need in order to work out this bottom edge? Well, okay, I would need to know the opposite angle to it. So I'd need to know this one. So this would be my angle A. And then I would need to know these two sides coming off the angle. So I'd need to know these two sides here. So if I want to work out this bottom edge, I'd need to know those two sides and the angle between them, which is kind of like the opposite to that side there. So it kind of works for the third side as well. Now, what is the actual formula for the cosine rule? Well, this is the actual formula. If I want to work out A, I can't actually work out A, but I can work out A squared, and this is the actual formula. The length of that side squared is equal to B squared, so whatever that side is squared, plus C squared, so this side squared, take away 2BC cos A. Now let me explain to you, actually let me write that a little bit clearly. So this is the cosine rule, so written out neatly. So I want to work out this side here, but unfortunately I can only work out the square of that side, so A squared, and that's equal to whatever this side is squared, add this side squared, take away 2 times B times C times cos of the angle that is opposite that side here. So cos of the angle that is opposite that side here. So this this angle here, which is opposite the side we want. So let's actually do it with some numbers. Let's do it on this one here. So okay, so A squared equals, actually let's just copy the formula over. Okay, so right, so for example, this is the side I want to work out, and this would be A in my formula. This would be the subject to the formula. Now, okay, so first of all, what is the angle opposite that side? Do I know it? Okay, that's 26, so that's going to go here. So my angle is going to be 26. Now, B and C, it doesn't matter which way round they go, but they're the two sides that are kind of next to that angle. So let's call the bottom one B and this one C. So B is going to be 43 and C is going to be 15, but I'd get the same answer if I put B and C the other way around anyway. So okay, so A squared is equal to so it's going to be 43 squared, that's B squared, plus 15 squared, that's C squared, take away 2 times 43 times 15 times cos, and then always put a bracket, and the angle is 26 degrees. Okay, so now we're not going to get A straight away, we're going to get A squared. A squared is equal to all of this. Now we need to actually work that out on the calculator, so make sure it's in the right setting, and we can just type it in one go. That's the great thing about this formula, is we could literally type it in one go. That's what I'm going to do on my calculator now. 43 squared plus 15 squared, take away 2 times 43 times 15 times cos, open bracket, 26 close bracket. Okay, if you do it correctly, that gives you 914.5555. Let's put 56. Now, that's what I'm going to write, but I've still got the answer on my calculator, this answer here. Now, that's not what A is. A is not 914 centimeters. In order to work out A, all we have to do is square root that number that we've got in our current in our calculator right now. So a squared is equal to that. So we just got to square root that to work out what a is. So what's the square root of that? That is 30.2 centimeters. Okay, that is how long that side is. And we've literally done that in like 10 seconds. Now, you have to remember that formula off by heart though, and that's the only annoying thing about it. It's quite long-winded. Okay, so let's just do another example and then we'll stop. Okay, so first of all, we just need to double check that we can use the cosine rule before you do anything really. And that's important. So first of all, is it a right angle triangle? Because if it is, just use SOHCAHTOA because it's quicker. But this one isn't a right angle triangle. I mean, it does look right angled-ish, but we're not told if this corner is a right angle, so we can't go assuming that it is. So we're asked to work out this third side here. I forgot to label it, but this is the side we want. That's going to be my A. Now, in order to use the cosine rule, what I tend to look for is, do I have an angle and then two sides coming off that angle? So if you kind of look, oops, sorry, it's kind of getting a bit messy, but okay. So if you look, we've got this angle in the corner, and then we've got these two sides coming off that corner. If you have that scenario, then you can use the cosine rule to work out this third side, okay? So that's the important thing is, do you have two sides and the angle between those two sides, like we have here? So we've got these two sides and the angle between them, which is 32. Then you can use the cosine rule to work out this third side here. So let's get into it then. So, all right, so, okay, so this side here is going to be, I mean, let's just label it something else, x. So this would be my A, so that'd be x squared. Actually, let me start it here. So x squared. Okay, so it's dead simple. B and C. So this is the angle between the two sides, B and C. And that's going to go, the angle 32 is going to go here. But B and C are these two here. Now, it literally does not matter which one's B, which one's C, but this is, let's just put that one as B and this one as C. So let's put it in 8.2 squared plus 14.7, oops, 0.7 squared, take away, and this is the tricky bit, so it's 2 times 8 point, oops, why did it do that? 8.2 times 14.7 times cos, the reason why it's called the cosine rule because it uses the cos button, cos 32 in a bracket like that. Okay, so we have to work that out in one go, or you can work it out in one go. 8.2 squared plus 14.7 squared, take away 2 times 8.2 times 14.7 times cos 32. Just double check, did I type that in properly yet? Okay, so that equals 78.883. Okay, now that's x squared. This side here that we want is x squared, but we want to work out what x is. So x is equal to the square root of that. So 78.8883 square rooted. So shift square root answer is 8.88. So let's leave it at that. Then that is how long that side is. Okay, that's dead easy. The cosine rule is so simple, but you have to remember this formula. And the way I remember this formula is the following. Okay, so you have to have an angle, and then the two sides. So you have to, well, okay, let me repeat that. Let me do that again. So you have, in order to use the cosine rule, in order to use this formula, you need to know two sides, any two sides, doesn't matter how long or short they are, any two sides and the angle between them in order to work out the third side here. So, and then B and C are literally these, B and C are those two sides, and then 32 is the angle between them, that goes there. B and C can be in any order, but they go, B squared goes there, C squared goes there, B, C goes there, and you can work out the third side. So, okay, so on this triangle here, okay, first of all, can we use which rule should we use? Okay, it's not a right angle triangle, so we can't use SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so I want to work out this third side here. So do I know the angle opposite that side? Yep. Okay, I know that angle. And do I know the two sides coming off those here? So do I have two sides and the angle between those? So 18 and 25, and the angle between those two sides is 25, so I can use this formula. So to work out x, that would be x squared in this case. Okay, so it'd be 18 squared plus 25 squared, take away 2 times 18 times 25 times cos of the angle between them, that's 25. Okay, and then simply work that out, which is 133.3 or something. And then don't forget to work out the actual length. You've got to square root that. And when you do that, that gives you 11.5. So that's how long that is to one decimal place, 11.5. You see how simple it is? You've just got to remember this formula. Remember, B and C are two sides, and A is the angle between those two sides, and then you can use the cosine rule to work out the third side in the triangle. Okay, so you want to have a go at some of these questions now on this. Okay, it's a bit tricky, but unfortunately you've got to memorize this formula. Just remember, two sides and the angle between them, and then you can work out the third side using this formula here. And don't forget to square root at the end. Okay, right, thank you for watching. There's still a bit more to the cosine rule. We're going to look at how to work out angles using the cosine rule as well. Okay, thank you for watching.